Before we get into today's episode, let me ask you something. Do you know what your current level of English really is? Understanding your level is crucial to tracking your progress and ensuring your hard work is paying off. That's why I've created a quick and easy English level test that you can take right now for free. Find out your level instantly. Just head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or check the link in the show notes.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
Hello. Welcome back to the British English Podcast. Now, would you believe it? We've been going for over 4 years now and have released over 200 episodes, which is pretty wild for me. And with such a big back catalogue, I thought it would be a great time to bring your attention to some of my favourite episodes. So today, we're revisiting one that I really loved creating. So whether you're hearing this for the first time or rediscovering it, I hope you enjoy this rerun of the episode called British University Lifestyle. All right, let's jump in. Hello and welcome back to the British English Podcast. Today, guys, I have got a wonderful guest and he goes by the name of Martin. Martin, how are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much for inviting me. Very pleased to be here.
Oh, my honour. And yes, Martin does the podcast called Rock and Roll English. And my YouTube partner, Harry, has managed to feature on there already. I feel like that was, 6 months ago now?
You know what? I think it was almost exactly 1 year ago. Because I remember Harry asked me how old I was, and I said I was 34. I was very nearly 35, but you don't want to, you don't want to round that up, don't you? You don't want to go to the highest number. So I said I was 34. No, definitely not. Maybe when you're 17, sure, because then you can be 18 and go to a pub, but not in the 30s. And I remember thinking, maybe Charlie's going to ask me how old I am. So again, do I want to round that up to 36 or stay solid at 35?
Well, it does make me want to say happy birthday for when it is. So yeah, thank you very much for being on here, Martin. And guys, we're going to be doing a podcast all around university in the UK, because Martin and I, we both went to uni. You can be the judge of whether it was the right choice for myself and for Martin maybe at the end of this. Who knows? But yeah, Martin, do you want to tell me a little bit about where you went to university?
Yeah, sure. So I went to the University of Reading. Before going, I actually took a gap year, what we say, so like between study. So obviously I finished school at 18, and then I didn't actually want to go to university. So I started working for a year, and then I thought, you know what, working's pretty rubbish. So after a year, I thought I'll go to university because all of my friends were at university. So then, started at the University of Reading. I studied economics. No idea why. That was obviously a mistake. I think I had dreams of becoming like the Wolf of Wall Street, but very quickly after university, when I worked in a bank, I wasn't quite the Wolf of Wall Street, and I didn't really enjoy the environment. And then now I find myself teaching English. So my degree in economics, as you can imagine, has come in handy quite a lot. So it's very useful.
Why do you feel like you didn't want to become, a Wolf of Wall Street fella? What made you realise that isn't quite for me?
Well, the whole environment of working in a bank, and when you're having like a discussion with someone, a heated debate in a meeting about an interest rate rising 0.01%, you do kind of ask yourself, what kind of significance does this have in the world?
Wow.
And then I started thinking, I don't really think I'm particularly enjoying this job. Number crunching, so having to spend a lot of time with numbers all day.
Yeah, that's something that I'm absolutely terrible at. But my parents, they wanted me to be very good at this, and they put me into an after school club called Kumon. Did you ever experience this?
No, I didn't. Please tell me.
I think it's a Japanese based school,
Okay.
like after school club, but it's global now. It has been for some time, but yeah, it was just like these maths papers that you would do, and you do them repetitively. I think it was my first job as well. After I got to a certain level, I was able to mark the papers, and it was like 3 + 1 is 4, 5 + 2 is 7, and you can tell I've still got it. I can still do numbers,
Oh yeah,
honestly.
you never lose it. It's like riding a bike. Yeah.
But no, sadly, I have now. Like, I'm terrible
Mm.
at maths. Like, yeah, any kind of slightly complicated situation with numbers, I get very nervous. I get very nervous. But yeah, so at least I guess for you, like, when there's a group of 6 or 7 of you at a dinner table and you've got to split the bill, are you comfortable with that? Do you take the bill? You're like, I've got this, guys.
Yeah, very responsible, and that's why I think I studied for 3 years at university to do exactly that. So really useful. 3 years well spent.
I mean, you get respect for that because,
Yeah.
yeah, I would respect you for that. Anyway, so let's not digress anymore. Digress meaning get distracted and talk about something else. So we're talking about university. You went to Reading. Can you locate that on a map, on an invisible map, using your vocabulary?
Okay, well, I suppose let's start with London, because most people know where that is, and then go west of London for about 25 minutes on a train from London Paddington, if you're asking, maybe 30 minutes, and then you arrive in Reading, basically, between London and Oxford, actually.
I love that phrase. If you're asking, is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's used, and Martin exampled it brilliantly there with humour. In the UK, when you feel like you've said too much detail, you can backtrack. You can come back and say, like, I've realised I've said too much detail by saying this brilliant phrase. If you were wondering, being sarcastic, of course,
Of
suggesting
course.
that no one cares. But of course we care. Of course we care. Have you ever wondered if you're making real progress in your English learning journey? Knowing your level is the key to recognizing your improvements. I have a fantastic tool for you, a free English level test that gives you an instant result. Take a few minutes now to discover your level and continue your learning journey with confidence. Visit thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or click the link in the show notes to find out your level of English today.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
So yes, so you go 25 minutes west of London and you're in Reading. What is Reading like?
There's not a lot there, I must admit. It's famous for a music festival, and there's not a lot else there. There's the centre of the city where there are a few bars, which I went to quite a few times. The university's nice though, the campus, some nice big fields, and yeah, there's not really much. There are no sights to see. There's a nice shopping centre called the Oracle. That's about it, really.
Okay. So it sounds like Reading might be a good place to keep your head down whilst studying. Did you manage to keep your head down, or did you experience quite a few of the pubs, clubs, and bars?
No, definitely did experience a bit of the pubs, clubs, and bars. Yeah, because like I'm sure every university city does, there were lots of student nights during the week. My favourite being a Tuesday night in a bar called Vodka Revolution, which was fantastic. Which is actually the reason I didn't play for the football team for Reading, because football matches were on Wednesdays and you weren't allowed to go out the night before a match. And I did start playing for the football team, but I just wasn't willing to give up Tuesday nights in Vodka Revolutions. So
Wow.
I had to jack it in. So I had to stop playing football.
Fantastic. Yeah, jack it in. So that is actually a really good example of what life is like as a university student if you come to the UK, or certainly as a British person going to a university in the UK, because you put social life, or the majority of us put your social life first, don't you? So Vodka Revolutions, it is a chain of bars, and a very mediocre one, I would say. I don't know about you, Martin.
Well,
but
in Reading, it was actually the nicest place. So that maybe gives you some more information about Reading.
Fair enough. But yeah, so sorry, you were playing football, so that means that you've got quite a bit of skill, right? You can kick a ball.
Oh, I can play, boy. I can play. Yeah, certainly in my younger days, I was like quite good as a footballer, I suppose. But in fact, I suppose it was university where my career kind of nosedived. So it kind of went down rapidly, because I played at quite a high level before that. But then after 3 years of constant drinking, my fitness levels weren't so good. And also my coordination, I think, suffered. So...
I'm questioning whether it was just the vodka that you were consuming.
Mainly, because I think it was the chili shot they used to do in Vodka Revolutions. Maybe it was them, I'm not sure.
Yeah, dangerous stuff. What would be the average drink that people would have as a student in the UK, would you say? What would be the top couple that you can think of?
Well, the first one that springs to mind, certainly in the student union, is a drink which we refer to as snakebite.
Yes.
Which I must admit I was never a massive fan of. I believe it's half a pint of cider and half a pint of beer. Is that right?
I would have guessed that, yeah. And then a little bit of...
blackcurrant, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of blackcurrant, yeah. Half beer, half cider, and a little bit of blackcurrant. Is that right?
That's right, I believe. And there were a few of these. There was one as well, which I believe was referred to as a turbo shandy, which I think was half a pint of beer and a Smirnoff Ice, which strangely enough, last year, actually, my friend got married and we had the stag do, so like the party before the wedding. And his younger brother came along, who's quite a bit younger than us, like nearly 10 years. And his brother said to me, do you want to drink a turbo shandy? And just to try and feel young again, I thought, yeah, let's have a turbo shandy. And I felt extremely bloated. So like my stomach had lots of air in, let's say, and kind of ruined my night really, and couldn't really have fun. So that's why I'm rock and roll. That's why I'm rock and roll.
Yeah, through and through, absolutely. Yeah. So snakebite, yeah, that was one. I feel like the general requirement of a university drink was it to taste disgusting and for it to be very, very strong and cheap.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, cheap was extremely important. Yeah.
Yeah. And that came about, I mean, going out, that for me was like at least 2 to 3 times a week, to the level of almost blacking out, almost can't remember your night. Often it was not that level, but you drink that much that it was possible. Is that your situation?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Like the classic thing that we did, for example, would be to like drink a bottle of vodka before going out. So even by the time you actually, like, by the time you get out, you're already more than half cut. So half cut being like, like almost like half drunk, let's say, but more than that. And yeah, waking up with like massive memory loss. One time in particular, I remember I woke up in bed and I looked at the ceiling. I didn't realize where I was. And normally this kind of story goes, and then there was a beautiful girl lying next to me or something like that. But what actually happened was it was just a friend, and I stayed at his house. He had changed house, and I had no idea where I was, but I had no recollection of actually going back to his house or why I decided to do that.
Oh, God. Wow. I probably shouldn't say this story, but you've reminded me. I remember a situation similar to that, and I woke up and I saw this picture of a group of girls, and I recognized one of them from a trip to Thailand. And I had met her in Thailand, and I had actually spent the night with her. And I looked over, and it wasn't her. And it turned out it was her best friend. And she knew her. And then the next morning she realised, it was drama, absolute drama. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, the chances of that,
No.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Quite a lot better than my story of just waking up with my friend.
So generally speaking, we had quite messy nights, it sounds like. And I feel like that was the general like life of a British person who goes to the university. And a lot of people joke about getting a degree in FIFA. Did you get a degree in FIFA during this 3-year stint?
I actually got a degree in Pro Evolution Soccer, which was the rival game. Maybe our age difference is showing here, because when I went to university, so from 2004 to 2007, Pro Evolution Soccer was definitely the number one game. So I definitely got a degree in that. And I'm not willing to play FIFA because I kind of feel like Pro Evolution Soccer was like my wife. And I feel like my wife has tragically passed away, so she's died, and I'm not ready for another relationship with FIFA, so I haven't gone there. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I don't want to encourage you to cheat on your dead wife, so you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah, you're right. PES, what we called it, Pro Evolution Soccer, was the dominant one then. But yeah, so my point was that we would play a lot of video games. Guys would, and the girls, what would the girls do? They would drink a lot. They would socialize. Probably they would probably talk a lot more than us. We would just play and drink, play video games and drink and play sports.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I actually went to university in the first year in dorms, so like the dormitory, so each person has their own room. We were on the ground floor, and it was all boys. And then on the first floor was all girls. And yeah, we used to spend our days like in someone's room around a TV, each with like a PlayStation controller in our hands, whilst the girls would often sit in the kitchen and actually talk to each other, which, thinking back, is probably the better thing to do, but certainly didn't feel like it at the time.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember that as well. The girls would be in the kitchen, the boys would be in one bedroom, all on a double bed, or like a single bed, like all 5 of us. Like, my turn to play, my turn.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, you talked about accommodation. Let's go there. So that was nightlife. We could go a lot further into that, I'm sure, but let's leave that there. And accommodation in the UK for university students is a little different to what I've experienced in America or in Australia. In Australia, the individual usually chooses a university close to home, and they will stay at home. They will live at their parents' house and they'll go to university. Whereas in the UK, we do it differently, don't we? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, generally the culture in the UK is to change city. So even if you are from like a big city like London, Manchester or somewhere like this, you would still then go to a university in a different city where you have to live on your own, learn how to cook or at least attempt, and do your own washing and generally look after yourself, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. The NBA playoffs are here, and Michelob Ultra is getting you closer to the game than ever with courtside seats and more. Enter now at michelobultra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access Courtside 2024 to 2025 sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Ends on July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit michelobultra.com/superior access/courtside for free entry deadlines and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing. It's precision crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Okay, so yeah, this is dormitories that you usually have in your first year when you go to university. And dormitories, like in America, you would share a bedroom with somebody, typically. Did we do that in the UK or not?
Not from my experience, although one of my friends did go to the University of Swansea and he had to do that in his first year. But that, I think, is quite a strange thing. And all of the other universities I visited during those university years with my friends that were scattered around the country, so all in different places, he was the only one. So generally, no, we have a room to ourselves.
Yeah, and then it depends on how much you're willing to pay or how much your parents are willing to help you as to whether you have a private bathroom or not.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't, for example.
Oh, okay. So Martin roughed it over the years of university, or the first year of university, because the second year, you don't stay in those dormitories, you outgrow them, and then what happens in the second and third year?
So the second and third year, you have to find a house. Generally, you've made some friends in halls, and then you look for a house together, and then you rent that house for a year. But again, the quality generally of student houses is not generally the best. So you often find, well, I think as well the students themselves maybe don't look after it so well. Students aren't really known for how often they clean and stuff like that. So yeah, the state of those houses, don't think it's like a normal family house or anything like that, because it's definitely not.
No, far from. Yeah, so I remember that being quite a stressful or political moment, having to choose your second year house, because it's kind of the earlier you do it, the more choices you have, and you have to kind of do it within the first term of meeting people, and you have to buddy up with at least 4 or 5 people to find a good house. So yeah, do you remember that being typically quite stressful or not really?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I hadn't really thought about it in a while. And I remember I literally just thought of what you said, that you have to do it in the first term, which doesn't really make much sense, because you're looking for a house like essentially for September in like, I don't know, December or November the year before, which doesn't really make much sense.
Especially for a fresher who's only got one thing on their mind, and that is going to vodka revs.
Exactly. And yeah, you obviously, after a few months, you don't really know these people so well, because as we mentioned, you go to a new city, generally where you don't know anyone. So you're making new friends. And so you've only actually known these people a couple of months, and then you're deciding to live with them for a year. So yeah, it is a bit strange thinking about it.
Yeah. Did you luck out? Did you get a good group of guys or girls or a mixture to get a good second year accommodation with?
Yeah, I suppose. We got on all right, all things considered. Obviously, people do get on your nerves a little bit, but I think that's just everyone when you're sharing a house, especially in those university years where maybe if you don't all go out. For example, there were 5 of us in our house, and sometimes you all go out together as a house, but sometimes someone might be going out in the house and then come back at let's say the early hours, so like in the middle of the night basically, and often wake you up. Actually, my 3rd year I had a bit of a problem, because I don't know why, but I decided to live with 2 people that were quite into raving. So they would often come back. Yes, they would often come back at like 3 o'clock in the morning when like Vodka Revs would close, for example, and they would then switch on their massive sound system that basically made the whole house vibrate. Wow. Which is just what you want when you've got an exam the next day.
Did they not have an exam the next day?
I don't think they were particularly bothered about the exam the next day. So no. And that's the other thing. You wouldn't finish your exams at the same time. So someone might finish their exams, for example, on the Tuesday, and then I've got my exams on the Wednesday, for example.
Right.
And that person's gone out celebrating having finished his or her exams, and that does create a problem. Yeah, but no, yes. Overall, I think I was quite lucky. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I think we might need to stop there, because I just went through the real English that has come up in the conversation so far, and we have 30 fantastic phrases from just that first part of the conversation. So we will leave it there to not overwhelm you with too many new phrases. But I should say I have turned all of this into a lesson over on the British English Podcast Academy, breaking down the language in exclusive video content, manually edited transcripts, interactive quizzes, and so much more. So if you'd like to continue listening to this conversation and study the content from this podcast to the point where you feel confident actually using it yourself in conversation, then head over to thebritishenglishpodcast.com. I hope to be seeing you soon to help you enjoy the journey you are on, improving your English and better understanding British culture. My name is Charlie. Please do give this podcast a review if you haven't yet. And goodbye for now, with a big inappropriate digital kiss from me. Mwah.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Before you go, make sure you know where you stand in your English learning journey. I've created a free English level test that you can take right now to find out your exact level. It's quick, easy, and gives you instant results. Head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or check the link in the show notes. Because tracking your progress helps you stay on track.
We can't use track twice, guys. No, let's do that again. Yep, we don't have time. Oh. All right, we'll just delete this last sentence then.